Hey, what is up, mortals? It is SBurkVA here with a new video for you. Welcome to part 7 of What If Izuku Midoriya Had the 10 Rings. So let's get right into it. I hope you enjoy. The average boxer can punch with approximately 2,500 newtons of force. As such, punching bags are built to last after being repeatedly struck with that amount of force for a long period of time. The fact that a dozen of these punching bags were currently laying burst on the floor was less a testament to poor quality than to the irate teenager who was currently beating the inanimate crap out of them. Izuku Midoriya, despite his recent setback, was not going to let a prophecy dictate his future, even after Eraserhead brought him away from his mentor, who was arguing with his old sidekick, Sir Night-Eye, and sent him home. His altruistic spirit persevered. So, when All Might, Edgeshot, and his mother all banded together to ensure Izuku could continue training to become a hero, he took the chance. And here he was, at 7 a.m. in a modified boxing arena that All Might had apparently used once upon a time, hammering away on innocent punching bags, with mystical green glowing rings of power. One day was all it took for a dream to be crushed. It took another 2 to rebuild it stronger than ever. This 4th day was the beginning of his new journey. Izuku's rhythm, however, was thrown off by a particularly loud door slamming its way open under the force of a very large All Might. "Young Midoriya!"
All Might! Good morning.
"Indeed it is! It looks like you've already begun resuming your training. That's good. There'll be a lot more independent work since you're not in high school." Izuku may no longer be a student of UA, but that did not mean he was not getting an education. All Might had reassured both him and his mother that he was getting in contact with persons who were more than capable of providing Izuku with an education.
Oh, yeah. Did you hear back from your friend?
In fact, I did. A couple of days ago.
Really? What did he say?
He said that he'd be here about... The sound of a car door shutting came through the still open door. Now! As All Might buffed up, Izuku looked on, still putting the pieces together as the sound of 2 voices, 1 man and 1 girl, came through the door. To say he was surprised when they entered was an understatement. Izuku's jaw dropped as David Shield, the scientist All Might had worked with during his time in America, walked through the door to the training area he was using. "So this is where you've been hiding, Toshinori." David walked up and shook his hand before a veritable blonde bullet impacted the hero while yelling, "Uncle Might!" "Hello, Melissa. It has been a while. We came as fast as we could. You don't often ask for help, even these days." "Unfortunately, this does have to do with that." "Are you really going to do this now?" "Yes."
Do what?
"You'll find out. Hopefully, by the time young Midoriya unsticks his jaw from the floor, you're going to catch a fly, my boy."
Oh, sorry. It's just, you're David Shield. You worked with All Might during his first few years. You're one of the greatest scientists in the world when it comes to support gear and basically everything else. And you're, here. Said scientist suddenly looked around like he was confused. "Really? I hadn't noticed. Here I thought that plane was a dream. Or maybe this is." He started knocking on All Might's forehead. Not an easy feat, as David was now jumping with each knock just to reach. "Hello? Toshi, is that really you in there, or is this another one of those giant balloons?" "Please stop, David." Don't worry. Dad's just messing with you, even if it is a little mean-spirited."
"Sorry, but usually it's this guy who makes all the bad jokes, and I wanted in on it for once." "Now, seeing as you just introduced David to yourself..."
"Sorry."
"Allow me to introduce Melissa Shield, David's daughter."
"Hi. Good to meet you, Midoriya." It's nice to meet you, too."
"Well, now that that's out of the way..." All Might poofed down to Small Might, and Melissa promptly yelped while her father facepalmed at his friend's consistent lack of tact. Izuku reacted a bit better as he tried to prevent Melissa from panicking too much. "This is where the fun begins." The Conver exposition that followed was nothing new to Izuku, but mind-destroying for the Shields. Melissa had previously known nothing about All Might's situation, and David had previously known quite little about the history of One for All, and nothing about its ability to be transferred. But this paradigm shift was only going to get more extreme for them. "Melissa, I want you to be the next holder of One for All. Even as Midoriya works to become a new symbol of stability in his own right, my own quirk needs a holder. A single pillar can be destroyed if one uses the right force in the right place. And when that happens, it can make the entire structure vulnerable. but two working together to maintain peace in society alongside all the other means of support. That will create a lasting peace. Hopefully with even better effects than my own efforts. But won't that mean you lose your power? It's one thing for a pillar to be taken down, it's another for it to fall of its own accord. Not immediately. I will still have embers of One for All. I will maintain my strength for a time. How long? I don't know. My master was killed before the embers left her. And you want to give it to Melissa? You have the strength to level a mountain. What would that do to her? Right now? Her limbs would probably explode. Melissa gulped. Then why would you even think about giving it to her? Because that's what training is for? Huh? David, have you ever seen a child who was able to walk from birth? Actually, yes, David. Not without a quirk abnormality, no. What about a bodybuilder lifting 400 pounds from the get-go? No. I had to train as well. Midoriya here has been training in fighting techniques and strength in addition for months as well. If Melissa wants to be a hero outside the lab, she would have needed to train for that too. She's already been training her mind. What's her body to add to that? Muscle pain? Yeah, that happens. Muscle pain aside, in the end, David, Melissa turns 18 within the year. She already has agency on medical decisions and otherwise for herself, and by the time she has the bodily strength to use my powers safely, she will be more than old enough to make her own decisions. And that's discounting the fact that she's a genius and has likely thought of 5 different ways to accelerate that through technology in the span of which we were talking. Actually, I thought about this, 2 years ago. Did not expect that. Well, my daughter's genius aside, this may be true, but this is a lot to drop on either of us. I'm struggling to come to terms with it, and I already knew about your injury. Dad. David turned to his daughter, who was sitting on the floor contemplating. 2 geniuses, a hero and a vigilante student, and not one of them thought to grab a chair. Dad. I'll do it. Yes. David paused for a moment. All right. I think you mean shut up, Toshi. Sorry. The 4 sat in silence for a beat. Izuku didn't really know what to do with the situation. Melissa just had her entire worldview smashed into more pieces than a dropped beaker, and David was trying to figure out what a transferable quirk would mean for the world. All Might just felt awkward. This video was sponsored by Honey. Honey is a free browser add-on available on Google, Opera, Firefox, Safari, and many others. If it's a browser, then it has Honey. Honey automatically saves you money when you check out on a variety of sites like Amazon, Papa John's, or Kohl's. Wherever you shop, it's a good chance that Honey can save you money. All you have to do when you're checking out at these major sites is click that little orange button and it will scan the internet to find discount codes for you. It just takes 2 clicks to install Honey. If there's a coupon code, Honey will find it. And if there's not, then you can rest assured that you are getting the best price possible, and there isn't one available on the internet. If you install Honey right now, you can save dozens, if not hundreds of dollars on your shopping doing nothing. There's literally no reason not to install Honey. It takes 2 clicks. 10 million people use it. It has 100,000 5-star reviews. So unless you hate money, you should install Honey. Personally, I'd say it's the bee's knees. Now, back to the shipping fuel. The tension was broken by Melissa standing to face her adoptive uncle. So, where do I start? All Might buffed up momentarily in excitement. Excellent! Well, the start is training, of course, but training without a goal is basically meaningless. So, where do we aim? The hero courses at UA typically allow their students to test for provisional hero licenses in their 2nd year. That exam takes place during the summer, a little over a year from now. If we push you, we should be able to get you fit enough to handle my power in 10 of those, about, 15 or 16 months. It is still April, right? I'm not being stupid. You are being stupid, but it is still April. Great! I'll draw up a formal training plan with the goal of getting you up to between 15 to 25% of my power by that time. Until I have that, I'll have Izuku show you stretches that should help to get your muscles ready for training proper. They are actually really helpful and important. That much I did know. Sorry. That's fine. The sound of an obnoxiously almighty alarm broke through the conversation.
repetitively stating, "I am here." Izuku quickly looked to his own phone but realized that wasn't his alarm. His sheepish mentor, however, was blushing a bit. "Really, Toshi?"
"It took 2 hours for me to give them a take they liked. I'm allowed to enjoy my own work, and I think it's kinda cool."
This, of course, coming as Izuku and Melissa both started cracking up.
"Well, I have to go. The teachers are taking Class 1A to their first rescue training session. Looks like it should be a lot of fun. They've really improved the USJ a lot since I went there."
"Yeah, sounds like fun."
I know, my boy. Believe me, I understand. That does not negate the contract I signed, however."
"Yeah, I know."
"Get your mind off it, my boy, and show Melissa your moves."
"All Might!"
"Ha ha ha ha! I am off, now that I have done that, on purpose!"
All Might laughed as he scuttled insanely quickly away from the face-palming David Shield and blushing Izuku and Melissa. He should have phrased that better, but if Melissa is serious about this, then let's get started with those stretches, young man. Right! About 2 kilometers away, All Might's levity would not last long as he heard a shrill scream and, being All Might, headed to make sure everyone was okay. Luckily, the mountainous form of Mount Lady tipped him off to a likely location. This went on for several hours. In fact, it went on for about 4 hours, as All Might noted once he arrived at UA at 12:55 in the afternoon, and was soon accosted by Nezu. He spent almost all of his available time fighting small crime instead of saving it for teaching as he was supposed to. Nezu found this more amusing than annoying, but the not mouse still chewed him out a bit for it. With little time available, All Might wouldn't be able to join the class at the USJ for long, which Nezu also knew, and so dragged him into a discussion over tea. "All of these recent developments in education show a marked increase in learning and attention with positive reinforcement instead of negative."
"Doesn't stop you from scaring the crap out of the students every chance you get, does it?"
"Ah, but it could be much worse, as you well know."
"Indeed."
"Oh, yes, I forgot to tell you. I bought you a car."
"What?"
"Yes, a yellow Gran Torino Sport."
"Uh...
"Would you rather blue?" All Might stayed silent for a moment.
You're really just
telling you to call your mentor. Yes, I am. You're going to need him to train your successor, who I still don't know the name of, mind you. Night Eye was oddly open, but still as stingy with the details as ever. I had to force him to stop oversimplifying his essays and making them too short, you know."
"I do remember this, actually."
"There is no one in the world with better insight into how One for All works and how to train for it. You know that."
"I really didn't want to."
"Oh, he's old now. Stop being so timid."
"Old and still able to kick my ass on a good day."
Spry old Zygot, isn't he?"
"Well, as fun as this is, Nezu, I really should at least show up to the USJ. They should be about halfway done the exercise."
"I'm sure if they needed anything that they would call."
"Call them." "I tried to call Aizawa and 13 when I first got here. I couldn't reach their voicemail."
Nezu's brow furrowed. That was indeed not typical. He reached into a pocket and pulled out a small phone of his own, pressing Aizawa's speed dial icon. When it didn't reach either, well, that confirmed something to Nezu. Perhaps you should make your way over there. This isn't normal. Call me yourself if there seems to be anything wrong. I'm going to go to our server room, see if there's a glitch or some technical explanation."
"I'll call you immediately if something is wrong."
All Might, indeed, left immediately. Nezu made his way very quickly to UA's central server, becoming all the more suspicious when he remotely checked the CCTV network through an encrypted connection on his own phone to find not even static, but simply a no connection screen. His worry was worsened when the phone buzzed in his paw. It was All Might. Far sooner than expected. One word, then a sentence. One emotion, only fear. One reaction, namely anger. Nezu had a big red button for a reason. Every hero on staff was called to assemble. There was a villain attack at the USJ. Elsewhere, Izuku and Melissa had made headway on exercise in the few hours since All Might's departure. She had more stamina than Izuku had expected for someone who hadn't done strength training before, get your mind out of the gutter. And beyond the actual physical training, it was fascinating for Izuku to be able to spend time with 2 of the foremost scientific minds on the planet. They were both coming up with ideas for support items to compensate for the recoil All Might had been talking about. Some kind of arm brace, modifying it, it sounded like. The back and forth between exercise and mental gymnastics repeated for several hours before they decided to go grab lunch and bring it back. And so, by 2 in the afternoon, the two scientists were sitting with bentos as Izuku practices Tai Chi forms and strikes, especially the two-handed ones for extra versatility and power with the rings. Their contentment was soon shattered. All 3 of their phones lit up with alerts and notifications from various hero apps and news agencies. This wasn't altogether uncommon. Emergencies do happen after all, and large villains aren't entirely uncommon. But it's not every day that UA is attacked. The 3 were filled with anxiety, rage, fear, and despair. The Space Hero 13 was confirmed hospitalized. The Erasure Hero Eraserhead was confirmed hospitalized in critical condition. All Might was apparently responsible for swooping in and saving the day, routing what was apparently a league of villains who were there to kill him. They failed. So did he. 2 unnamed students were confirmed dead. 2 people Izuku knew were confirmed dead. He didn't know who they were yet, but he would not forgive the League. As he said as much, Melissa agreed, and filled with righteous anger and decades of experience, so did David. The League succeeded in sowing fear. They succeeded in showing that UA was no longer a beacon of safety and security. They had begun to undermine their society. And in the process, they had just signed their own death warrant. Izuku wasn't going to need a judge to sign this one. Thank you all for sticking around, and I hope that you enjoyed. Before you leave, we would just like to let you know that We the Celestials has many other channels for your entertainment and viewing purposes. All the information you'll need is right below here in the description, so feel free to check out all the other incredible projects our team creates. Secondly, on behalf of We the Celestials, I'd like to thank everyone involved in the production of today's awesome content. Their details will be in the description below. That's all for today's video, so goodbye, and have a divine day.